Hello and welcome. We'll give everyone a few more minutes to arrive and then start things off. We'll just get going in one more minute. All right, let's kick this off. So welcome everyone to another Stategraph Demo Day. The last one of these that we had was actually it was a big push for velocity, and we're really proud of what we've done there so far. But that was just the first iteration. And we haven't been sitting around doing nothing in this time. We just decided to be heads down instead of working on a demo. So we're back. Just to reiterate the goals of Stategraph here, provide insights into infrastructure, make plans and applies fast, and manage all your infrastructure as one unit. Now, the first one here, that is nothing unique to Stategraph. Pretty much any Terraform offering out there provides you some insight into your infrastructure. But 2 and 3, nobody else is doing this. We're the only ones. Now, some people are helping you orchestrate your infrastructure to make it less of a burden, but nobody else is trying to resolve the fundamental problem of how to make plans and applies faster. And nobody is trying to solve the problem of managing all of your infrastructure, even if it's broken up across multiple states, as one single unit. There are tools that help, again, orchestrate all of that state management, but no one making it solvable as one unit. And the reason is it's really freaking hard to do. Like, we've been going really hard on this. It seems like all of the fundamentals, computer science, are there and they work and it can be done, but all the details actually make it a big challenge. And with that, I want to say thank you to all of the people that have been using Stategraph since we released it, and really appreciate your patience in using Stategraph and giving us your feedback. We have been busting our behinds on an upcoming release that has a ton of improvements from everyone's feedback. So all you early adopters, all people who just tried it, we really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Now, today's demo, it's actually probably not going to be super long. Want to show off something that we've been working on, and anyone who follows the Terraform subreddit knows that refactoring is a huge pain point for Terraform in general. And the subreddit is full of people inheriting some repo that either they made it or they got it from somebody else, and it's just in a state that is hard to work with now. It's gotten so big that they can't actually accomplish what they want with it. But they're scared to refactor it. And refactoring Terraform in particular is scary because you have all of this state and resources, and if you mess it up, you might lose a resource, and that's not bad. If you lose track of a resource, it's not great, but at least it's still out there doing what it's supposed to be doing. But if you accidentally destroy a resource, that's very bad. If you accidentally destroy your database, now all your data is gone. And this causes people a lot of anxiety. They aren't sure exactly how to do it the best way. And that's because not only do you have to modify your Terraform code, but you also have to add these annotations on how to move the resources around in the state file. So you have to do these two things that are in sync with each other. One sec, lots of people joining. So this means that a lot of Terraform repositories don't get the much needed love that they deserve and improvements, and they end up becoming a bottleneck over time. Additionally, not only is the act of refactoring Terraform a challenge, but you also have to decide what you want to refactor it into. And there is also a sense of anxiety around, well, if I do it this way, it's a big project, but what if in a month or 6 months I've scaled again and I have to do another refactoring? So it feels like just like this endless loop of doing something that's scary. But fear no more, we now have refactor mode in Stategraph. So the idea here is that you have your repository. You start by running the data about the current state of your repository somewhere. And then you just keep on making the refactoring changes that you want to. And the smaller, the better. It works that way. And then at each point in time, after you've done a little refactor, you run Stategraph refactor step, or you just do a plan. And Stategraph will look at the original repository, and it will look at how it looks now and come up with a mapping of how you've changed it, and then automatically generate all the moves in order to go from the original to the new one. So you do that, more refactoring, go back to step 2, make your change, do a step or a plan, validate that it looks how you want to. When you're done, either just apply it and it'll be automatic, everything will be automatically moved around. Or you can actually get all of the correct Terraform moves out of it with doing Stategraph refactor complete. So now refactoring is not this concern about the state file as well as the code. It's just make the changes to the code, and Stategraph will figure out what your state should look like after that. And if you do this right, your plan will be a no-op at the end of each one of these, so you know you're okay. If there are changes, that could be okay, depending on how you actually want to refactor. But at least it gives you some feedback on what's actually happening. Additionally, since Stategraph has the ability to control if you can plan or apply in a session, you can let the robots go hard on this with no fear that they're actually going to apply your changes and bring down some of your infrastructure. So with that, let's see an example. Let me just share my screen. So I hope everyone can see this, but here we have a messy repository. Everything is flat. There's no modules. We have multiple environments in here. There's no distinction from what goes where. We have, for example, an IM file that just has a bunch of random IM content in it. We have a temporary fix that's still lingering here. And we want to use Stategraph to turn this into something a bit more structured. So I've already imported it into Claude, or into Stategraph. And now I can run Claude, and we have a Stategraph refactor skill. Let me just run that for a second. So the refactor skill here does a few initial checks. And then it comes back and it says, what do you want to turn this repository into? You want to do shared modules with environment roots, or just shared modules, or you can do something custom. We're going to do shared modules with environment roots. And then what flow do you want? So if we're going to do a pull request flow, we actually want to get all the move blocks out so we can submit them in a pull request and push them up. Or we just want to directly apply here. So we're going to go to, for this demo, submit our answers. And Claude is going to do its thing, looking through the repository. And the skill that we have in our GitHub teaches Claude how to use the refactor command, how to iterate through the changes, validate that each change is correct according to what information Stategraph gives it back. And then it can use other Stategraph commands to understand what the state looks like in totality and validate that things are going as expected. So because I don't actually trust Claude entirely in a demo, the demo gods have been kind to me, but I don't trust them that much. I did this exact earlier, so I can just show you the result. So this is the same messy one that we started with. I did the same Claude run, and as we can see, now we're broken up into environments. We have our prod and staging. Everything in here is a child module. We have reused modules, so our IAM policies, networking, S3, shared, so on. We have the moves that Stategraph created for us. This is essentially a log of the changes that we just did, where everything from the original should go into the new one. And we have our initial entry point, the main.tf, that instantiates all these modules. So with that, you can use Stategraph pretty easily to refactor a messy repository into a non-messy one. Let me go back to our presentation. So I know that's really quick. Really, the skill that we have here is giving Claude, or it works under any LLM. You can use Gemini or Codex, the ability to do these refactorings in a safe way, thanks to how the information that Stategraph has access to and it can share with it. Now, I said I didn't have much today, so that's it. So I have 2 URLs here that we'd really appreciate you hitting. One of them is join our Discord. That's the left one. And then try out Stategraph Refactor with our skill that you can find on the URL to the right. And as I said, we have a new release coming out this week, maybe early next week, that takes a lot of the feedback that we've received, and we're just doing some final testing on it to give to bring all that to you. Now, the refactor functionality, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but with the 30-day free trial of Stategraph, it doesn't actually restrict how many resources you can import into it. And going into Stategraph is as simple as a Stategraph import, and going out of Stategraph is as simple as a Stategraph export. So you can download Stategraph, set it up for the 30-day free trial, do your refactoring, export out of it, and then go delete Stategraph if you don't like it. But at least you'll have a good high-quality repository after that. So thank you, everyone. I know that was super quick. Open the floor for any questions people have, questions or comments. Thank you much for all the emojis.
This is really cool. Did you try it on I mean, how long did Claude used to take when you asked it to do the refactors? Like, was it as fast as you would ask when you do a code refactor, for example?
So at least in my case, it was faster than me personally doing it, mostly because a lot of it is just moving the code around and putting it to the right places, and then Stategraph can deterministically figure out where that code went for the moves. And Claude and all the other Gemini and all that are just really awesome at moving code around. So a refactoring is like really the sweet spot, I think, for dipping your toes into using LLMs on your infrastructure. And with Stategraph guaranteeing that they can't do an apply, if they can do a plan, which requires access to planning credentials, but they can't do apply and actually modify your infrastructure. That means you can really be aggressive in how hard the Claude goes at refactoring things and moving stuff around.
Yes, but my question was more about the time it takes. Like, do you think it would take half a day to refactor a large repo? More than that?
Really, good question. So the one I showed minutes for that one.
Sorry, can you say again? You just dropped for 3 seconds.
The one I showed took around 30 minutes, but that one plans really quickly because it's the example one is not like cloud resources in there. So the way I would use it is set it up at night, tell Claude to refactor it through this Stategraph skill, and then go to sleep and wake up and see what it has for you in the morning.
Okay, I see. And what about the tokens? Did you consume a lot? Like, did you hit some quota on your subscription or something?
No, I didn't on mine, but I don't think that the token count wasn't abnormally high or anything like that. Mostly it's a lot of iterations, but I think Claude is pretty pretty good when it comes to IAC in terms of understanding where things should be. So especially with the skill, it has a lot of presets on what things should look like. So it has a lot of direction on move these things around in this way. And that really helps with reducing the amount of thinking and the amount of exploration that Claude has to do, which is less tokens at the end of the day.
I see. I see. Awesome. Looks really cool.
Thank you.
All right. Amazing. Thanks, Malcolm, for putting this together. If anyone is interested, as I said, go to these links, or you can also just go to stategraph.com and send us a note if you have any questions. We'll be posting this video recording as well as some of the slides. We'll send it around to everybody that signed up for this today. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Definitely come over to our Discord if you try stuff out or have any questions or run into anything when you do try it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.